Hello, I'm TC.
I'm JJ.
And I'm Toy Story.
And this is the Geek Beat, presented by the Long Island Comic Guys. All right, guys, welcome back. We're going to do the Geek Beat again. But before we get into that, please make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, that little bell to get your notifications across all platforms, not just YouTube. If you're watching, we appreciate it there. Give us a thumbs up. Hit us up in the comments if you don't mind. And if you're doing the same on a listening platform, maybe iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, whatever it is, make sure you're subscribing, turning your notifications on there as well, and likes and comments as well. And with further ado, I turn it over to our reigning geek on the street, Mr. Story.
I was hoping you would say Mr. Story. All right, so biggest news I think this week, we have a Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, guys.
Yeah.
So shall we talk about it a little bit, dissect it a little bit?
Yeah.
Sure.
So what's first impressions here?
Well, to be clear, this is a fan-made image, I'm sure. But I think pretty reflective of what we could expect in this movie.
I liked it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, oh my god, this trailer. I mean, for a little background, I think they only dropped this trailer because it leaked the day before.
I think so, yeah.
It was like a cell phone on a cell phone on a cell phone video recording with a scope path. But they released this on a Monday night, which they never do for trailers. It's always 9 a.m., 10 a.m. So, oh my god, freaking awesome, guys. What do you think?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I didn't even.
No, it looks pretty cool. I mean, I'm actually looking forward to this. I mean, if it looks like what they're trying to do is bring everybody in, I think that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't kind of show that was the case. I think that's a lot of speculation going on. I mean, again, like, so we see Doctor Strange is definitely in it. We know MJ. I mean, we see the huge reveal is Alfred Molina's Dr. Octopus. You know, we do get a pumpkin bomb with what sounds like Willem Dafoe. But I mean, did it really sound like Willem Dafoe, or do we want it to sound like Willem Dafoe is really the question. I think, it could still be anyone, really. It could be, the Hobgoblin. Mm-hmm. So, I don't think we have anything known for certain, but we do know that. And then, of course, as soon as a new Marvel thing comes out, the same name pops up again as soon as it happens. Mephisto. Doctor Strange is Mephisto. Why? I didn't get anything Mephisto-ish from that. I mean, I've heard so many, if you keep this image there for a second, so many things about this box that he's holding and what people are saying that it is. It's, I don't, honestly, I'm good with seeing anything else. If I want this to be the last thing until the movie comes out.
Yeah,
There's too much speculation.
I said last time about how I didn't want any trailers. So I mean, this is fine. I don't want to see anything else, though. I really don't.
I think they decided what to show us very, very
strategically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think there probably is edits that happen. Everyone's like, oh, on the car, it's definitely edited to be Tom Holland because that's Tobey Maguire's suit or something out. There's like some suit where he's wearing like a regular suit. Like, oh, that's the same suit he wears in the movie. It's just like, okay.
I'm sure there is. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, but for the Civil War trailer when that came out before Spider-Man was announced in it, the part where they're running at each other in the airport?
Yeah.
They edited Spider-Man out of that trailer.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So they do that stuff all the time, and I'm sure there's stuff going on here. But I don't think there's any way for us to know exactly what it is.
Listen, I hope this is like the best one yet. I mean, listen, to be honest with you, I'm probably
not a lot to live up to.
Yeah, it is. And the problem is, like, you see these posts where people like the expectations for, Spider-Man No Way Home, and it's like every single character in the Marvel universe plus John Wick plus plus Godzilla and Kong. So I mean that's the pumpkin bomb right there that we see. I mean, it really can be, we know nothing. I feel like still we know Alfred Molina's in it. That's about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going on with like the weird CGI they had on him. I feel like that's probably totally not what he's going to look like either.
Yeah. Like, are they trying to do de-aging and stuff?
Yeah.
That was my first thought, was to try to make him look younger.
Yeah. All right. So before we move on to the next topic, what are our like predictions here. What do we think is going to happen?
I do think we're going to see Tobey and Andrew Garfield, if not only because everybody's expecting that now, and if a year ago they weren't planning on it, they definitely put it in the movie now. So, because there's going to be a lot of pissed off people if they're not in that movie.
And if they're going with this whole multiverse theme, I mean, it only makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Bring him in.
I hope there's more J. Jonah Jameson too.
Yeah, I think that one of the theories that I have heard, which I am leaning towards, if they do decide to make Doctor Strange kind of the villain of this, maybe these guys are not necessarily the villains, but on his side, or at least some of them might be. Because if you think about it, Alfred Molina, when he kind of ends like almost heroically in Spider-Man 2, for anyone who's old enough to have seen that at this point. So it's interesting. I don't want to make too many presumptions or, predictions. I just kind of want to see this at this point, but it should be interesting. We'll see if we get another trailer before December 17th at this point, but
let's hope not.
I'd be okay if we didn't. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Awesome.
Very exciting.
All right, moving on. A little more Marvel news. So Marvel Midnight Suns has been announced. It's coming out in, I don't know if it was just announced, but they confirmed it's coming out in 2022, March, I believe. And it's going to be introducing a new character called the Hunter. He's going to be an all-new customizable character just in this game, I think.
Yeah. So I didn't know much about it, and then I started looking into this a little bit more. Apparently, this is going to be like an RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think you're probably not going to be able to be some of the heroes, or maybe you can, but I think it's going to be...
I think you're this hunter guy, and you customize him to look how you want.
Yeah, like it's probably like guy or girl, and you can kind of go with that way. I would like it to be kind of like a Dragon Age, where even if that's your main character, you can still like switch off to some of the heroes at some point. If it's really just locked on this character, that's going to be a little bit disappointing. So we'll see what happens. I'm actually kind of excited for this, because that last Marvel game that they dropped, I think last year or whenever it was at this point, was highly disappointing. It's like one of the few games I didn't even finish. I think like I got it part way through, and I was just like, I don't want to play this anymore.
I'm excited. It looks cool.
Yeah, we'll see.
A little more Blade, right? That's Blade. That's supposed to be Blade.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, hopefully it's something that's fun. Can spend a couple hours on without having to play online. If it's online only, I'm out. I'm just saying that right now. Online only, no thanks.
All right, next up is being heavily implied that Shuri, played by Letita Wright, will take over the mantle of Black Panther in the upcoming sequel. And it's because of the recent news of her stunt injury on set that's been leading to this rumor. So what do you guys think about this?
Yeah. I think it's been kind of suggested for a while. It's probably the best move for them to do without making themselves look bad. They've kind of gone out of their way to say that they're not going to replace T'Challa with another actor, at least yet. I feel like if they do that, maybe it'll be some type of multiverse situation down the line. But I think, this makes the most sense. It gets them another female hero into the mix. I mean, Shuri does take over the mantle of Black Panther. I believe it was in the 2005 Black Panther #9 that she takes over.
2009 Black Panther #5.
Yeah, sorry. Black Panther #5, yeah. So that's a great cover, by the way. Is that it? That's cool. A Campbell, right? And of course it is. I was like, I was like, wow, that looks like a familiar storm. I was like, that's But yeah, I think it's great. She was one of my favorite characters, probably aside from Chadwick Boseman in that movie. She was like very cool. I have been hurting this vibe. Riri Williams, I believe, has been confirmed to be in this movie as well. And they're saying that Shuri is going to kind of take almost a new Tony Stark role in this universe, without him as being like the predominant like genius and kind of like leading the way for like her becoming a hero. Ironheart, I'm referring to. So we'll see.
Nice. Excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited for this because I like her. She played in the first one. She was excellent in it, and it's. I think it's going to get I would hope it's going to get more of a female attraction to it, like more females, and especially the younger generation, maybe more into this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the goal here, right? I think that's really the goal. Somebody else has to do it except for us.
Nice. All right, next up, Jake Gyllenhaal is set to produce and star in Robert Kirkman's Oblivion Song with Universal Pictures.
Yeah. Have
So
you
that's
guys read that?
that's a picture of him from the show.
No.
It's just him.
Yeah.
It looks like the guy.
Yeah. Have you guys read this yet?
No, I've heard it's fantastic.
Yeah, I just downloaded it this afternoon. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, I haven't read much else by Kirkman, besides like Walking Dead and Invincible.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm actually want to read this one after I read a couple other things I have to on my list.
Cool. I mean, I'm happy I'm really happy they're bringing more of these independent books to TV shows. I mean, a lot of them I think would do really well as TV shows.
I mean, which ones haven't they at this point? Every single these are just basically screenplays that they submit as
Image has got to have their own studio at some point.
Yeah, I mean that's basically all these guys do at this point. It's just like, okay, I'm gonna write this for a comic book for 10 issues, and then we're gonna send them all into the studios to get picked up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really all these guys care about.
Yep.
In my perspective, I actually, you saying that, I don't think I've ever read a Robert Kirkman book.
Really?
I don't think there's a single title by Robert Kirkman that I've read. I'd have to go back and double check that, but I've never read this. I've never read any.
Don't read Walking Dead. I know you're not gonna.
No, I'm not going to anyway. I don't.
You would like Invincible. I think you should give it a shot.
Yeah.
Invincible, it was pretty good. I've read the first volume. It was good. It was all right.
Yeah, I think if anything, that would probably be the one I'd be interested in. Yeah. I have no interest in zombies or vampires. It's just not my thing.
This one looks interesting.
Sweet.
Cool.
Let's see. All right, a little Star Wars news. A little 2022 releases announced recently. So what do we got here?
We got a whole lot. So we've got the Rangers of the New Republic, new droids. That's with the C-3PO there. You got the more Bad Batches coming back for season 2. The new Visions, which is that Japanese animation. Mm-hmm. Rogue Squadron looks fantastic.
That's a movie, right?
It's a movie. Yep, the first movie for the year. Lando, which is, I'm curious to know what they're doing with that. I haven't heard much on that, but Lando. I know they have finished. They're not wrapped up yet, but Andor is looks pretty good too. Mm-hmm. I do not know anything about
Acolyte. I don't either.
I don't know anything about that.
They haven't said anything about it.
And then we've got the Ahsoka, which we've talked a lot about, and the Book of Boba Fett, which
I think that's coming out into this year, right?
Yeah, in a year to the new year.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be probably the hottest one. I think
for sure.
I mean, it's Boba Fett.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for a lot of these. Obi-Wan too is supposed to be next year, I think.
Oh yeah, where'd that go?
I think it's supposed to be next year. They just wrapped filming on that, I think.
Yeah, I missed that image. Oh well.
All right.
Yeah, Obi-Wan.
Yeah, man, lots of Star Wars coming.
I don't think there's exact dates yet. They just confirmed for 2022, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the only one that has a date is the Andor one, right? Is that December or is it January?
I thought Book of Boba Fett was December.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, apologies.
Yeah.
But
I
think Andor is next after that. I think
right after that.
Yeah.
I think that might be January sometime or February.
Stellan Skarsgård's in that show. I'm interested to see what he's playing.
In which one?
Andor.
Oh yeah, I have very little interest. But the robot's going to be in it again, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be the selling point for me because I don't care for that guy.
Of course.
So you saw something for Rogue Squadron?
No, just the write-ups on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That one should be.
But
cool.
I mean, I've read the comics. I mean, I love the Rogue Squadron comics. And
that one sounds really cool. I like the idea of that. Is actually the same girl who did Wonder Woman 84 is doing this though, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It can't be worse than that, right?
Lots of Star Wars coming up. Hopefully, most of it is good, but we'll see. Yeah.
Patty Jenkins.
Yes, Patty Jenkins. We learned to hold our breath, so we'll see. All right, next up. This was a little bit of a little controversy over the last week or two. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this right now, but there's a bit going on with Heritage Auctions and Wata Games. For those of you that don't know, Heritage is a massive auction house. They auction off collectibles, comics, cards, video games now. And Wata Games is a video game grading company. They're relatively recent, I think, within the last few years. But so this YouTuber, and I forget his name, he did like this hour-long video basically detailing this suspected collusion between the two of these guys to drive up prices in the video game market, which was sparked by that $2 million sale of the Super Mario Brothers a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, don't they all do it?
I thought this was like common practice, and just nobody talked about it. But
I mean, we're
Was it
going.
Super Mario Bros. 3 or 1?
No, it's 1. But
yeah, I think it was 1. But I think the rumor is that the one of the guys from Heritage, he bought the copy for $100,000 a couple years ago, and then they auctioned it off themselves for $2 million.
Yeah,
and I think they're saying like they hype it up, they drive up the price, which yeah, everybody does that. I feel like all these big guys.
I'm just so bitter about like this whole thing right now. It's hard because like there anything you do that's going to do that's going to happen. I mean, it happens at eBay, it happens, there's this new thing Whatnot, it definitely happens there. I mean, anything where there's a potential to sell and make money, there's always going to be greedy people trying to manipulate it. It's just, there's the dark side and the light side of all this, the underbellies of all this buying. And like, the problem is now we're getting into, these collectible stuff aren't things that are worth like $100 or like $1,000 anymore. You're getting into the area of billions of dollars. I mean, people are grading VHS tapes now. I mean, it's just it's craziness. So
I never understood this grading of a box. Like,
I just don't understand how many people like how there could possibly be so many unopened video games.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
It's really strange. Like I definitely don't believe like there's an accuracy with like the cellophane being on it. Like I've seen plenty of
it's so easy to do that.
People re-cellophane it. Like what are they doing? Are they like carbon dating the cellophane? It's just tell what year it was done. I mean, it's just I mean, yeah, to a certain degree, can you be an expert and like find like little things here or there? I feel like this isn't like color touches where you can see, oh yeah, this was definitely color touched.
It's a little.
I don't know. Like I have no interest in getting into this, and I'm glad like I never like did.
I would think it's nowadays in 2021, it's really easy to reproduce a cardboard box from the 80s, a lock crate from your home, like you said, cellophane that thing up with a heat gun. How do you know the game is in there? It's already sealed. Like, this is what I don't understand. It could be anything. Like, I don't trust. Like, you can't just rip these things open. I just think this whole thing's a gimmick. I don't see the point of it.
It's probably like a certain weight. Like they probably weigh it and know it's supposed to be like 0.65 whatever, ounces. I'm sure
you don't buy that.
There's got to be some science behind it for sure. I mean, like think about when we did the Pokemon card thing, where they're like,
they weigh the packs and everything.
The packs weigh like 0.7 more when they have like a hollow card or whatever in there. I mean, it gets to the point where like people figure out like the ways around doing these, and I'm sure like they can say, hey, by the way, this thing here weighs exactly as much as like a cartridge's weigh. So like even if they did do that, I'm sure there's still people like figuring out what the rules are. And listen, it's with anything, they've been doing this for thousands of years. Like how many Leonardo da Vinci fakes were there out there? I mean, this isn't.
I'm not knocking video game collecting at all. I think video game collecting is very cool. I think that I do think that the grading of them is a little like.
I mean,
and that's the other thing. Like, okay, right now we're looking at a Mike Tyson 9.6 and a Super Mario 9.8. So I know in a comic book, like you can find the inconsistencies between maybe between those two.
Yeah, is it the same grade? Is it the same scale?
But when you're looking at a video game that is already shrink wrapped, like, is it a tear? Is it a little piece of
like how do you know that the thing wasn't shattered when it wasn't dropped in the store or something shattered and the inside something's broken off?
I don't I'd like to understand more how they grade things. And that's because that's
another ignorance there. Like I don't know. Maybe they have ways around this. Maybe they have ways to figure it out. But I don't know. Seems a little fishy though. Yeah, so that's.
I mean, it's just. I mean, we did the same thing last week with the cards, right? It's not surprising that it's another thing. Throwing their hands into the ring. I mean, how many years have we been talking about like all the stuff with like the CGC or whoever else being shady? I mean, like we still believe like how do we know that they don't know who's submitting them? It's like if they don't know, how do they get back to the right person correctly? It's just there's too many unknowns about all this, and that's the thing that really bothers me about it. Like when I send a book in, I feel like 50-50 that I'm getting the same book back every time. like I always take pictures, and honestly everybody who does it should take tons of pictures of their book before they send it in. And it's just like, there's so many stories where like, oh yeah, you ruined my book. Like, oh, well, yeah, like we think it's valued this much, or, you were talking about, you have to make sure you put it in the right tier or you're not going to get your insurance back. So we have to pay them like an extra $500 to make sure that they don't damage our book, basically.
Yep.
So it's just ridiculous.
And who in their right mind is going to spend $2 million on a Super Mario Brother game? Like, that's another thing. Like, did you have that much cash where you can just
ridiculously wealthy people?
Like, are you?
Some may say the same about like Action 1 or something.
Yeah,
but...
I mean the same people. It was probably Metropolis who bought it.
All right,
let's move on from that. Last but not least, let's talk about Batman a little bit.
Yeah.
So apparently they've had the first test screening of Matt Reeves' The Batman. So what are people saying?
Yeah, a lot. So again, you have to take this with a grain of salt because these people were all invited to see this movie, and I'm sure it's enticed. And if you say something bad, people will know who it was who said something bad. But
they got bribed with popcorn.
Yeah, I think a lot of the facts behind it are. It seems synonymous that people are saying this is very much a horror movie. It's gory. It's scary apparently, and it's probably going to be rated R. It ran at about 3 hours screen time. I don't know if that's including credits and everything. I don't know if there's an end scene. I didn't hear anything about that. They did say it is set up for a sequel, so that's interesting. I would have thought this might have gone the way of like the Joker with being a one shot. They say Pattinson. People say his voice is fantastic. He sounds just like Batman should, or for whatever that means. Maybe he sounds like Kevin Conroy in the animated series. I don't know what people think Batman should sound like. And they're saying one of the things that, and I hope this is true, is that he actually puts a lot of his detective skills to use in this one, unlike a lot of the other ones where it's just going in and beating people up.
I love Detective Batman.
Yeah,
there is a lot of that, but I really do hope this is like kind of like a long Halloween story, because that would be great. I mean, there is a ton of villains. Paul Dano, who I think is going to be the main villain, who's playing the Riddler. You might know him from Little Miss Sunshine a few years ago. More than a few years at this point. But they say he's fantastic. He's scary and psychotic. I mean, he's getting really great reviews for his performance. And Zoe Kravitz, they're saying, and again, listen, this is a lot of opinion. They're saying she's been the best Catwoman to date. So, I mean, that's cool. Saying a lot. I mean, I enjoyed Michelle Pfeiffer. It didn't age as well, that her performance in that movie, but I wasn't a big fan of Anne Hathaway. So, I mean, I think anyone could really probably knock that performance out, but we'll see. It should be interesting to see all of them. And there's apparently an end scene that got people really excited about. They're apparently screaming with excitement about it. So I don't know. Okay. It sounds good. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I am a little bit more excited to see this now, hearing all this stuff. It sounds, it's different because it sounds like the right things were said. Like, when you hear like, it was exciting and there was a lot of action and, stuff like that. Like, I felt like I heard a lot of that when Birds of Prey came out. Like, it was great chemistry. I was like, so that means this is just like filler and fluff that people are putting. This is like kind of specific about what the movie's about. So I've got hopes. Maybe I'll see this one. It better not turn out to be like a reflection on like how people, suffer from like insomnia, like the Joker movie was. Like, it's really a movie about insomnia. It's not so much about a Batman. This guy isn't able to get any sleep. I was like, get out of here with your nonsense.
You need to watch Joker for one of these episodes so we can talk about it.
It's not an 80s movie.
Nice. All right, I'm excited to see this.
Yeah, I am too. What do you think, JJ? Are you gonna go see it?
Yeah, I'm gonna see this one. I like you. I had mixed reservations when it was brought out a long time ago, and from what's being said about it, looks hopeful.
Yeah. All right, cool.
I still don't want any weird vampires.
I mean, that's been so long ago at this point. It's just like I really haven't seen anything else that he's done since then.
Right, and that's
people really speak very highly of like some of the stuff he's done, like Tenet, and I think there was another one he did with Willem Dafoe recently where he was like in a lighthouse or something.
Tenet, is that with?
Wasn't he in Tenet, or am I lying?
Tenet was that guy who's a Suicide Squad guy.
Idris Elba.
Yeah,
I don't think he was in that.
Tenet?
No, I don't think. Didn't you see that, Matt? That seemed like a movie you would have seen.
I was just about to say I wanted to see it, but I didn't.
Yeah, it's John David Washington's in it, and it's Robert Pattinson. Actually, there's a lot of people in it. Maybe I will eventually get to see that. I have heard like really fantastic things about it, but yeah, that's it. I don't know what we were talking about last.
Okay,
That's the Geek Beat.
Yeah, well, that's the Geek Beat for this week. I'm TC.
I'm JJ.
Toy Story.
Thanks for getting geeky with us.